This is the High School Football America podcast for October the 10th, 2022. I'm Jeff Fisher. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by GameStrat, America's premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding reliability, faster speed than Huddle's sideline, plus GameStrat has awesome customer service, along with different plans priced right for every coach's budget. And if you call up for a demo, make sure you mention High School Football America to get a little deeper discount. To get a demo, go to GameStrat.com or click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. Well, it's time to see what's cooking in the National Championship chase, and I can tell you this, after Friday night's big win over St. John Bosco, Mater Dei is in control of its chase for a fourth High School Football America National Championship in the last 6 years. The preseason number 1 Monarchs came up with a 17-7 defeat of the former number 2 team in the High School Football America 300 powered by NFL Play Football. It was a dandy game. It lived up to the hype, and now Mater Dei, if it's able to run the table and win a California Open Division title, well, the national crown will stay in Santa Ana. However, and we're going to talk to Bruce Rollinson, the head coach at Mater Dei, in just a couple of minutes here on the podcast. There are a lot of hurdles still in front of the Monarchs, who are just right now looking pretty darn good. But again, this could be a trap game, and Bruce Rollinson's going to talk about that coming up, because this week they play number 87 Orange Lutheran in the Trinity League. And then after that, they've got number 91 Santa Margarita on October 21st. And then they close out the regular season against longtime arch rival Servite. Servite down a little bit this year, but again, it's a rivalry game, and anything can happen. Now, after that, Mater Dei will head into the uber tough CIF Southern Section Division I playoff field. That's going to be chock full of top 100 teams as well. And don't forget, there's also a good chance that there will be a part 2 of Mater Dei St. John Bosco, maybe in the championship round of the CIF Southern Section Division I playoffs. The championship game is set for the Rose Bowl. How cool will that be if both teams make it there? For those of you that don't know, and Bruce will talk about this in a little bit coming up, the game on Friday night, which was played before about 9,000 in the Santa Ana Bowl, home game for Mater Dei. They were talking about it, putting it at the home of the Los Angeles Rams and the Los Angeles Chargers, SoFi Stadium. But instead they got the intimate crowd there, and boy, that was a raucous atmosphere as Mater Dei walked away with a 17-7 victory. Now, if we're just going to kind of go through the map, that road that Mater Dei has to a national championship, if they win the Southern Section title in Division I, they're going to go to the Open Division Championship game. Likely opponent there would be either Serra from San Mateo or Folsom. Those two teams right now in the latest High School Football America 300 ranked number 45 and 46. Mater Dei has one of the toughest schedules in the nation, and if they close out with all those teams I just mentioned there, that will really take their strength of schedule up. Now, Bosco's dreams of a second High School Football America national title, they're still alive, but the Braves are going to need a lot of help, and then a win, of course, against Mater Dei in a possible rematch in the Southern Section playoffs. The Braves dropping from number 2, a position they held all year long, to number 5 in the latest national rankings that are powered by NFL Play Football. Now, who are some of the other teams that are in the mix for a possible national championship should Mater Dei fall? You've got Buford from Georgia. They're the new number 2 team. They move up a notch after Bosco loses. The Wolves have won 3 straight Georgia State titles, and they're going to test that new ranking, this Friday against number 20 Mill Creek. That'll be a huge regional game for the two teams. Buford, quite the story, started out as a very small school, and now they're playing in the largest classification, first year in 7A for the Wolves. They've won state championships in every classification they've played in. Never been done in Georgia, and I got to think as I go through things, it maybe hasn't happened anywhere in America. So Buford, Mill Creek, 2 versus 20 this week. Remember, you can always keep up with all of the action across America. High School Football America has partnered with ScoreStream for the last 7 years. We have live, real-time scoreboards that will keep you up to date with every game in the nation. There's about 7,000 to 7,500 games on any given Friday night, and we always have them clicking off for you on our state-by-state real-time scoreboards. Okay, so you've got Buford at number 2. Then you have Maryland St. Francis Academy at number 3. They inch up from number 4 from last week. They're number 3 this week. The Panthers are 5-0, but they only have 4 regular season games left. And they also have, a possible Geico State Champions Bowl game. So, what does that mean? Well, that means that, they're possibly going to close out with only 10 games. But those wins they've picked up all on the road have been against nationally ranked teams. So that strength of schedule is strong, but it's going to drop a little bit now. They're going to be highly favored in the remaining, the next 3 regular season games. They've got Maryland's Arundel on October the 28th. Then they play Connecticut St. Thomas More, which has some post-grad athletes on it, and Canada's Clarkson North on the 11th of November. Now, they do close out with that dandy of private school matchups when they take on IMG Academy in Florida. IMG winning the 2020 National Championship. They're currently number 14 in the High School Football America 300. That game you can watch on Flow Football, produced by Prep Gridiron Logistics. So that will be a dandy ball game then. But, again, St. Francis Academy in the mix, but they don't have that opportunity to play for a state championship as they, a couple of years ago, after that whole debacle, I would say, in the MIAA in Maryland, where they left the league to play a national schedule, now don't have a chance to play for really a true championship of any sort. So their championship game may be that showdown with IMG and possibly a date in the Geico State Champions Bowl game against one of the teams that one of the states, that does choose to play in the Geico State Champions Bowl. At number 4 is Miami Central. Impressive last weekend, a 42-7 win over arch rival Miami Northwestern before a sellout crowd there in South Florida. The Rockets' next big test will be in 2 weeks when they face number 24 Miami Columbus. Central already owns a victory in the season opener against IMG, so they're right there. Again, you've got these, the Monarchs and Mater Dei control their destiny. If they win out, they will be the national champs. There's no doubt about that. But you've got, 3 teams there that are right in the mix. And again, just to round things out, we said it earlier, Bosco falls from number 2 to number 5. There are 7 new faces in the top 300 this week, along with 2 teams that re-enter the national rankings. Warren Central of Indiana re-enters at 246 after beating Carmel, and Christ Presbyterian Academy out of Tennessee, otherwise known as CPA, coached by former NFL quarterback Ingle Martin, is ranked number 275 this week. They fell out the week prior, but they're back in after snapping Oakland. Oakland came into the game number 29 in the High School Football America 300. The 2-time 6A champs were beaten by CPA, and that snapped Oakland's 36-game win streak. The new teams in the top 300, starting at the highest entrant, it's Turlings Catholic from Louisiana at 194. At 230, Houston County from Georgia. At 232, Madison from San Diego, California. At 276, Prince Avenue Christian after upsetting McCallie from Tennessee last week. At 296, it's Centennial High School from Burleson, Texas. Clinton from Mississippi comes in at 297, and Gainesville from Georgia checks in at number 300. You can check out all 300 teams in the High School Football America 300, powered by NFL Play Football, by going to highschoolfootballamerica.com. And as promised, we're going to now journey out to Southern California and talk with Bruce Rollinson, the head coach of Mater Dei, the 3-time national champs in the last 5 years, and right now sitting pretty as they look for number 4. Heading to Southern California, and the voice that you'll all know from years and years on High School Football America's podcast, Bruce Rollinson of the number 1 ranked Mater Dei Monarchs after a huge 17-7 win Friday night against number 2 St. John Bosco. And Coach, I know you've been doing a lot of these interviews, but thanks for taking some time because you're a busy man to talk about another top spot for the Monarchs going into the second half of the season.
Well, I appreciate it, Jeff. It was a great game. It matched all the pregame hype. There was this whole speculation that the game would get moved to SoFi Stadium. I think you're aware of that.
Yep.
I was not involved in that, but I'll tell you a funny story. When I was approached, I said, look, you guys, to me, it's financial. Make a decision. Just tell me where we're playing and where to bring my team. That's always been my philosophy. They finally came to me and said, okay, we're going to the bowl. I went to my football team and said, okay, you heard about SoFi. We're playing at the bowl. They all stood up and cheered. So, I went, all right, well, I got a happy team and not a disappointed team. And it was, Monarch Nation, showed their best foot forward Friday night. And the Bosco side was full. There was 9,000 plus in the house. And they got their ticket value money's worth with a great game by 2 great football teams.
No doubt about that, Coach. What you've done this 1,000,001 times over the last 10 years, it seems like, with Bosco. But here's the beauty of high school football, right? It's not like you have JT Daniels 10 years ago playing now, right? Because you've got kids coming in and out as they graduate. So how do you constantly get the kids to understand that the hype is the hype and it's going to be there no matter what, but it doesn't matter till we go strap up the chin strap and go at each other? What are your words of wisdom to these young men?
Well, you know what, the way we built our model is we try to get the top youth players to be interested in this great high school, and then we develop them, and they have to trust the process. And what we do is because they're young, they're talented, we suit them up. And, we played a true freshman as a nickelback. In other games this year, we've had freshmen play a lot. So they get a taste of what it's all about. And you talk about big games, you lead them up, but there's no substitute to being in a big game. Now, where I got lucky, we went out to Bishop Gorman, and it was rocking out there. I mean, they thought this is their year, and they're a very talented football team, and they gave us all we could handle. We had to come back in the fourth quarter and win it at the 3-minute mark with a field goal. But now they had a taste of what I'm talking about. Corona Centennial, we turned around and went out there. Again, 8,000 to 10,000 people ringing the field, 3 deep standing. So they got a taste there. So it wasn't our first rodeo Friday night, but you also add the element of a well-coached St. John Bosco football team, and then it comes down to execution.
And you guys executed better. Bruce Rollinson on the line for us right now. Number 1 in the nation. They were there preseason. They've won 3 of our 5 last national championships, going for 4 out of 6. You can control your destiny. And one of the things that I don't know we've ever talked about, Bruce, when we talk about the Bosco rivalry is the respect. We've talked about the respect you have for Jason Negro, the head coach there.
Yes.
But I think one of the beautiful things that you can see, and I was not there for the first time in a while on Friday night, but after the game is over, as tooth and nail as you went at each other, I always love the way you guys come together. There is so much respect here. Can you talk a little bit about the respect between the programs that transcends wins and losses and X's and O's?
I'm glad you brought that up because they're still high school football players, Jeff, and the ironic thing is a lot of these kids are on the same competition passing league team, because most of these guys play at an elite level in the passing league circuit, and they play together. A lot of them, most of them, have played for some of the top unlimited teams here in Southern California, and they've been playing either with each other or against each other since the 5th and 6th grade. Their parents know each other. They tailgate together, and it's a healthy rivalry. And at the end of the night, I love what you say. They were hugging each other. They were, there was a tremendous respect for each other. So, you for 48 minutes, let's get after each other, and then in the post game celebration, let's hug each other.
Yeah, no, it's something that I've enjoyed since 2012 when I moved out there. And again, I'm not sure what I expected when two heated rivals go at each other, but what I saw was a pure thing of amateurism and athleticism and student athletes and all those other good words. Bruce Rollinson on the line, breaking down a little bit of what happened Friday night. 17-7 win, keeps them in control of their own destiny. Bruce, you mentioned the youth you had on the field last night, and you've had this youth for a long time, meaning you've been playing a lot of young kids, I think, since Trish and I moved out to Laguna Beach and saw that. I don't know if that was something that was in your MO when you were a younger dude, but my question is this. Was that team, and I'm trying to think, it was the Tommy Brown team and JT and all, did that change your mindset on how you go about building a program with these youngsters that you do bring at an early age? Like you said, you're selling the school, but when did your mindset change on the ability to play young men that can perform under tough circumstances?
Well, in the 90s, we would bring the top freshmen up for the playoffs. They played their 10-game freshman together season, but then we would cherry pick the top guys. I remember, we had Grudy Good, we had Kevin Mitchell, and they came up and immediately had an impact in special teams, even as players, as replacement or sub players. I didn't care. Best players play. That's always been my MO. And then, as you watched, I think, the training and the unlimited football where they've played at a high level as youth players allows them to be more prepared as they come in as 10th graders. So if you keep the same philosophy and you're not afraid to put these kids in, because sometimes ignorance is bliss, They don't understand that we're playing, the number one ranked team, or it's 1 versus 1, or whatever you want to say. They just go out and have fun. The kids that have more pressure are the kids, the seniors that they know that every college coach in the nation is watching this game. I mean, they know that. I mean, we had so many universities represented with Lincoln Riley himself at the game. They have the pressure. The young kids, they just fly around and don't know the difference. They just want to do something special. So you blend all that together, and the next thing you know, you're getting this talent developed. But we are a young football team, Jeff, and it's very interesting when you break us down. We only have 2 senior starters on defense. I mean, a lot of those kids that went off Friday night are sophomores and juniors. The same thing on the offensive side, but yet the proof in the pudding. My starting center, B.J. Tolo, has started since he was a freshman, 2 years at guard, 2 years at center. So, it's my job is to put the best product available on the field on any given Friday night.
Number one in the nation last year, going for 2 in a row, 4 and 6. I guess that says it all, Bruce. Couple more questions before I let you go here.
Sure.
And I know we always talk about this, but all of my colleagues in the media, well, what do you think, Jeff? What do you think? And I always say one thing because I've gotten to know you pretty well, and Jason as well. I said, but here's the thing. I think that early in the game, if you see Mater Dei run the football, and then they're like, no, this is going to be a 50-48 shootout. I'm like, If Mater Dei can run the football, you're going to see Mater Dei possibly come away with a victory. You guys did handle the line of scrimmage and all that, and here's what I always ask you, and I'm going to let you go riff on it. You talked about your center already. You love your little piggies up front there. That's kind of the heart and soul of it, and they've carried you a lot of championships. Talk about this O-line this year and how good it is and how good it might be by the end of the season.
Well, when we went into this football game, we told our defense, you have to stop the run first. And we got a heavy dose of their running backs. Mm-hmm. And we did an adequate job of stopping the run. And that included Pierce Clarkston, the quarterback, who's a tremendous dual threat guy. On the other side of the ball, we said, okay, we have to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, but we felt that our offensive line, even though they're young with 3 juniors up front, they also they started. Everybody makes a big deal about Elijah being 24-0. Well, so is DeAndre Carter. So is Brandon Baker. Wheeler, the sophomore at right guard. Toey, he's only a 10th grader. And so they're all undefeated. And they play like that. But we've always taken pride in our offense and defensive lines, and if you really were watching the game, the defensive line was stellar. Zeus Venegas had a phenomenal night on the defensive side, and then you go to DeAndre Carter at left tackle. He's 6'5", 320. Wheeler at left guard, he's 6'3", 330. BJ Tolo, the stalwart in the middle, who is a 4-year starter. He's 6'2.5", and he weighs 330. The right guard, Brandon Baker, highly recruited kid at 6'5", 310. And then at right guard is Lipe Moala, who's 6'7", and he goes 330. And then the right tackle, Brandon Baker, 6'5" and 310. They have the knack. They like to be physical. My offensive line coaches, Manoa Pau and Colin Holmes. You remember that name? Mm-hmm. Colin's back with me. An All-American at USC and played in the bigs for 5 or 6 years with the Colts. They do a tremendous job in preparation, and we get off the ball. They understand the concepts, and then you turn loose. I mean, I'm blessed. I have 3 tailbacks. One of them a little banged up, Ajon Bryant. He had a few carries and almost squirted loose on one. And then I have the one transfer. We have a junior, Nate Frazier. Nate's a 10,700 meters kid. And then the big guy, Jordy Davison, who had 22 carries for 130 some odd yards. Jordy is only a 10th grader, and we mixed it up well. And we threw the ball successfully with Elijah. Jack Wrestler had a great game. They had Jordy, the Anove. They had him locked down pretty good. We got a young sophomore at wide receiver, Marcus Harris. Marcus has a big catch in the late 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter that set up the field goal that put us to 10-7. But and Elijah had time, and they were bringing everybody. But you can't say enough about the fortitude and the performance by both of our lines, but especially our offensive line, Jeff. I was very proud of them, and we challenged them.
Yeah.
We told them, we are going to have to mix the run with the pass. We like to throw the football, and then we're going to continue to throw the football, but we're also going to give you a heavy dose of 3 good backs.
Yeah, and you did that. Bruce Rollinson on the line here. Hey, we talked special teams through the years, but we've never talked specifically about a field goal kicker, a young man that went into a raucous atmosphere there in Gorman and kicked a big one and kicked the one that ended up really being the game winner, right? Davison got the big run at the end. But tell me a little bit about this field goal kicker that you have there that's got a couple of wins under his belt in that undefeated start.
Andre Medina, my soccer player that we found, he approached me in before we went to spring ball last year, and he had banged around the soccer fields for 3 years. He still plays club soccer, although that's on hold right now. But he said, I can kick, and it's one of those rare years that we didn't have the kicker in the stable. Andre started working his craft, and the next thing you know, I'm not kidding you, Jeff. I'll give your audience a great story. We're at the 3-minute mark against Gorman, and we're driving, and we stall out, and then we get a penalty, and then, I'm doing the math, and I'm going, oh, boy. So as he came by, I said, Andre, just go have fun. And he had this big smile on his face. I don't think he had any idea of the magnitude of the kick he was about to unload. So, boom, he kicks the first one and right through the uprights, and they had jumped off sides. And I'm just going, uh-oh, because as well as I do, when you have to reload and kick again because the math didn't work to put the offense back out.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, all right, son, reload it. And he was true right down the middle. And I'm not kidding you, Jeff. For a kid in that big of a game to have to kick it twice and drill them both, I said, all right, I guess he's got ice water in his veins. So I had some good confidence in him. They brought everybody and as hard as they could come on the block, and he didn't flinch. Boom, right through, and now it's 10-7. Momentum is in our camp, and we're playing great defense at the time. So, and then Jordy popped loose at the end to ice it.
Yeah, and we're taping this on Monday. It'll run Monday night. As we always say, it's a gauntlet in the Trinity League. You have this huge win. You have, Olu next. They're, number 87 on our national rankings. You got Santa Margarita coming up there, 92-ish, I think. And then you've got the arch rival Servite, which is having a down year, but it's an arch rival game. What are you doing this week specifically today on Monday to say to the kids, hey, Friday is done. I don't care how many highlights you want to watch or a replay you want to watch, it's done.
Well, here's the interesting thing. It's also homecoming this week. And Mater Dei does a tremendous job for the entire student body to generate excitement, and they have free dress and spirit dress, and we have a massive rally Friday. Then you've got the dance Sunday night. So I got 900 distractions. We do our senior introductions at the game Friday night. But what I'm going to remind them of, Jeff, is we were not ourselves when we opened league play. Let's face it, they were looking ahead to Bosco. We played J. Sarah, a quality football team, well-coached football team, and we struggled. And there's going to be my example. I'm going to say, look, any given time, I've always believed this in the Trinity League, any team can beat the other on any given Friday night. So, this is a trap game. You better have great practices. But then you deal with all the high school stuff. Yeah, we're banged up, a few guys. We're going to have to get treatment to get ready to go for Friday night. And then you got the normal flu bug that's flying around through the team. So, we just try to go out and emphasize. We've been talking to the kids since we started camp. We have a saying, okay? Every play, every period, every practice, to be prepared for the game. And we're going back to that. That's our point of emphasis. Great plays in practice, great periods in practice. Forget about Friday night. Because as happy as and as high you were on Friday night, if you dump this thing, it's going to be the total opposite. So we'll have them ready.
Yeah, I have no doubt about that. Last two questions. I'm not sure which order I want to take it in. I'll just go with my brain. I think Dan Albano from the OC Register wrote something or tweeted something where it said that R word, that nasty R word, is not in your vocabulary. Any truth to that?
No, I don't know why. I actually told Albano, well, I'm going to coach next year. I mean, I fully intend to coach the 23 Monarchs. I want to, I feel good.
Yeah.
And that's all I can tell you. I feel good. I feel, like this is what the Lord intended me to do. And you step on a field like Friday night, and you have to stop and say, really, I want to give this up. It's what I do. And if I'm capable of doing it, then let's go. I have full support of my administration. They're behind me 110%. And so, to me, it's, Orange Lutheran. That's all I'm concentrating on.
I know.
And that's my job.
Well, what about those grandkids, though? You may want to coach them at some point here. I mean, that R word may stay away for a long time. Anyway, last question for you, Coach. And I know this. We've joked about this off the phone, but you and Jason generally know you're going to play twice a year, and that's probably the case again this year. Maybe at the Rose Bowl. I hear that's where they're moving the D1 championship to. How much did y'all sandbag in the play calling and the scheming for Friday night? Knowing you may have a part two.
It's a great question, and both of us, we want to win, and I don't think he held anything back. I didn't hold anything back, because you want to put yourself in a situation, if we can, to be the number one seed in Division I. And then take the playoffs as they come. You've got Corona Centennial out there beating up on everybody. There's other teams that are right there in the thick of the hunt. But again, we have 3 games left in the season, and that's where the focus will be.
I know. I just had to ask that. Right now,
I know.
Yeah, you run the table. I'll be happy to. I'm coming out there. We're coming out in March for a little vacation at Laguna Beach, and I'm going to come out with not only this year's championship. We're putting together a nice little 10th anniversary championship trophy for all the 10 years of our algorithm. So I've got 3 balls right now. I owe you, maybe a 4th. We'll have to see. But Bruce, always appreciate you taking the time to spend it with me. We appreciate what you do for the kids. We appreciate your program and everything else. So thanks for taking the time, and go get them on Friday night and keep it rolling.
Well, Jeff, you're sitting there telling me how much you appreciate me, and the same holds true for Football America and what you do for high school athletics across the nation. And we don't celebrate greatness as much as we should. And what your people and you do is celebrate greatness, and you spread the wealth and honor the great game of high school football, and I appreciate that.
Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it, Coach. Again, that's Bruce Rollinson of Mater Dei, number 1 in the nation in the High School Football America 300. This week they've got number 87 Orange Lutheran as they try to run the table and win another national championship from High School Football America. It would be their 4th in the last 6 years. Again, check out the entire High School Football America 300 powered by NFL Play Football by going to highschoolfootballamerica.com. And throughout the week, if you want to see where your favorite team is playing this weekend, make sure you check out our state-by-state scoreboards powered by ScoreStream. And again, all of that at highschoolfootballamerica.com. And that's today's High School Football America podcast powered by NFL Play Football. Learn more by going to playfootball.nfl.com. I'm Jeff Fisher.